Ew, the backyard is flooded. Ew. The greenhouse is still in one piece though. It was stormy last night. Hey Randy, what are we doing today?
We are measuring up our yard to plan for our spring crops, and so we know exactly where all the beds are and where we're going to possibly add more beds and change things. And, yeah, it's planning time.
Okay, so you have some measuring tape
I do.
and something to write with.
Yes, I do.
It's paper.
And a paper.
Okay, so that's how you start out.
Yes, you start with paper, pen, and a measuring tape.
And then we measure our stuff,
Yes.
where plants go.
Yes.
Well, that sounds easy enough.
Yeah, that's how you start. So everyone needs to get their paper.
Everybody get out your...
Get out a paper.
What did they always call the pencil? HB2 or something?
I don't know.
Get out your pencil and your paper and some measuring tape.
And a pen or a pencil. Something you can write with. Crayon.
A crayon, some charcoal,
Okay.
a rock.
So a couple changes we're going to be doing is in the spring, this is coming down. As great as we thought it was, I don't know, ungrew on me.
Okay, that's fine.
But we're going to put something else here. A real trellis, real 4x4s, and then an arbor thing right here.
Okay.
So we can go under it and have vines go up it and across and whatever.
Okay, let's get measuring. That's the important thing.
Yes. You're standing in muck.
In my winter boots.
Okay.
Okay.
I've plotted out where all of our gardens are. Okay, on an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
Now I am just filling in like background, so we know where everything's at. A little easier to see. Formatting the cells, adding a pattern to the background. So now we would know what is usable, what's not usable, what's what. So I've labeled shed. This is our back deck. This is our other shed, and then all these areas where we can click inside. Where I've left open is where our garden beds are. And it's all gridded out. I don't know if you can see it really easy.
Not really, not in the picture. I could see the lines.
I'll show you, because each box is a foot. So, see? I've gridded it out.
Okay. Cool, so we could see exactly the square feet and plan out what we're going to plant in each little square.
Yeah, so we can number them, each square,
Okay.
and then put a legend on the side of what we're putting in that square.
Okay. And you and I do something sort of like this every year. Every year, maybe our method of doing it is a little different, but we draw it out every year and plan what goes where.
Now, one thing that I was thinking this year is, see, there's a shape thing here. Going to show you, here is a tree.
Okay.
Okay, so make it pretty.
Okay.
There we go. There's
Sure.
our tree.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking at the base of this tree putting a round bed,
Okay.
and because it's shaded, it's going to also be cooler, so it'd be good for our cool crops. There's sun that still comes in under there,
Right.
so we could do lettuces and things like that under there really, really well.
Might be an
I
idea.
think. So that's kind of I think for our new bed this year is to do that.
Okay.
But you had
It's an
also
idea.
thought of moving the potato box this year.
Yeah, move it outside of the greenhouse somewhere.
Okay, so this is the
Less
potato
maintenance.
box right here.
Uh-huh.
Where would you want to put it?
I don't know.
So here, I'll make it so it's movable. Okay, so now it's movable. So now we want, where do we want to put it? Over here?
Is there room there? Outside? Yeah? Okay, it's a good spot.
Okay.
I just don't want to have to water it. I see it might as well take it outside the greenhouse and let the rain water it.
So now I've moved it out of the way here, so now I can.
Potatoes are such a low maintenance vegetable. You can kind of ignore it.
Just so you know, I've used all the border options in Excel to create all of the borders.
Okay.
So that's how I'm creating all these.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, I'm gonna check back with you when we're a little further along on this.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, Randy, I see you have some color on your map here now.
Yes, I do. I've taken like a color legend I've made here for herbs, veggies, fruits. It's things that we currently have that we know come back that possibly we want to change. I've kind of labeled. So actually, I should probably go like this so we can change it. So we say 4 right now. We've got lemon balm in here, and we want to put sweet basil in that section over here. So I'm like color coding it so we know what we need to do and where. I'm in the area right now where we're going to be putting a new garden bed. So in around where the tree is in our backyard. Sun does get underneath the tree, so it's good for cold weather crops and ground crops. So it will be a raised bed around the tree. I've marked off in the middle where the trunk is, so that's not really going to interfere with the growing. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. So we've labeled everything, numbered everything, and then on the right-hand side of our drawing, follow my little mousy guy, over here, we've numbered everything. So we can now look and see exactly what has to be in that area, and it'll also be color-coded as well, so we'll be able to easily find out what goes where and how to grow it and whatnot. So I still have this big bed here to do, if you can see that. That bed, and then there's 2 other little beds over here next to the shed, and then we're done
Okay.
for this.
All right.
So there's actually a lot to put in here. When you look at how many beds, and when you add another bed, you realize, oh my goodness, I've got so much space to grow in.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
So,
you think people benefit from doing it this way, or is it kind of just to each his own? What do you think?
you need to be organized and know what you're doing. If you're not organized and you don't know what you're doing, I mean, human nature is to assume that you're going to remember things and whatnot, but like you need to put everything down, otherwise you will forget things. A lot of plants have very similar leaves, so and similar. They look very, very similar. Like if you grow multiple varieties of tomato, it can be difficult to tell which tomato variety it is. So if you mark it down and you have like a legend and you mark down where all the types are and where they're planted, you'll be able to identify it much easier by following a plan. So this is how we do it every year. Not exactly like I'm doing it here, but I mean, sometimes we'll draw it on paper, sometimes we'll print it up in Microsoft Word, but I'm finding that Microsoft Excel or any, you could use Open Office, their Excel program or whatever, to do it, but I've changed all of the sizes of all of the grid to make it almost like a graph paper. So every square is 1 foot. And that seems to be working so far, and I'm just numbering every single one, so that represents that I can put a plant in every single one of those. So you'll notice if you see the red one over here, that one right there, 24. That is, I've got it labeled red, which means it's a fruit. That's rhubarb.
Okay.
So that rhubarb is going to take that much space, and I know that because of our past history with rhubarb. And then 27 is raspberries. And it actually only used to be one little section in the far corner, and now it's grown to that size. It's starting to spread throughout that bed there. So I've blocked that off as area for raspberry. And then in here, 25, and then 26, we've got carrots, and then we've got beets.
Cool, because you know that spot gets a lot of shade.
Yes.
So,
And that's a deep bed as well, so we can do ground crops in it.
right. Okay, so I think the more you are growing in your yard, the more you need to plan it out ahead of time.
Yeah, if you only have a little bed and you're only growing like 2 or 3 things, yeah, you'll probably remember. But if you're trying to be self-sufficient and grow a lot so you can eat out of your garden on a regular basis, you need to keep track of it.
I think this just helps you maximize your space. And
Yes. On top of doing this, there's also we're using Mel Bartholomew's book to tell us when to plant different fruits and vegetables and whatnot. And then you also should follow his book for replanting after you've harvested a crop. There's all kinds of different books that you can get a hold of for planning your how you're going to water, your watering schedules, your compost, and how you want to structure your compost. If you're trying to be self-sufficient, then you have to plan for it. It's not something that you can just do, but you should probably plan for it. It's going to be the best way to do it.
all right.
Using plans for if you're doing a lot, definitely the way to go.
Okay. So people have been asking us, show us exactly what you do to prepare your gardens and from start to finish in the spring. Well,
Yeah.
this is the start.
This
This
is-
is how it starts.
This is it.
This is how we start before we lift a rake or a hoe or whatever, a pitchfork. This is how we start. It starts with a plan on paper.
Or computer screen in this case.
Oh yeah, computer screen in this one. Yeah.
But it did start
It
on
really
paper.
started with paper, measuring tape, and a pencil.
Because you do need to know like your footage, how much you have to work with.
Right.
And because especially if you're using Mel
If you're
Bartholomew's
using
book,
square foot gardening, it's very important to know your
how much
space.
growing space you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as important if you're just using a standard old row method.
Right. Exactly. So
Yeah.
there are some things like you'll see we've changed up. If you look in the greenhouse area, this is our greenhouse. This area right here. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll see here that we've got it's different. See, 17 is here, and then we got this little 19 right here. Well, 17 is pickling cucumbers, and 19 is just regular cucumber.
Right.
And then
And
so 15
when you
is a tomato.
when you plan it out like this, you remember, okay, last year I planted tomatoes in such and such a square. I don't want to plant tomatoes in that same square again because it's best to rotate your crops, right?
Yes.
So that's another reason why this helps.
Yeah.
So you don't find yourself backed into a corner having to put tomatoes in the same spot again.
Exactly, because right
Yeah.
now I've got 18s. These are cabbages, and you can put 1 cabbage per square foot. Okay, and then 15 is a Roma tomato.
Right.
Now we did have a tomato there, Polish linguiça tomato there last year, but right now we have peas and we have beets in this, so I'm comfortable putting tomato back in for the spring and summer crop
All right.
because we've rotated the crop already at this point.
Okay, so this is how it starts, guys. We'll update you the next time we do something else to prepare our garden in the spring, okay?
Okay, aren't we bringing, we're doing some starts very, very shortly. We have some already started, but we're bringing a small, aren't we bringing our indoor greenhouse inside?
I'm not sure.
I think we
We'll
are.
see.
Yeah, that's your way of saying I don't want to do that today.
All right, say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, Randy.
Okay.